firstly, welcome to Carlos Coutinho, co-founder of Cazas Novas, joining Diogo Lopes, Portuguese Winemaker of the Year and co-founder of Cazas Novas. For those of you who don't know, Cazas Novas is a Vinho Verde property. It combined 3 quintas into one new project in 2010. It is the brainchild of Vasco, Carlos and Diogo, and recently been joined by Andre at Ventazella. They focus primarily on a Vesso, and the winemaker in chief is Diogo, and we're going to talk to him today and ask him some questions. This is our very first Meet the Winemaker session for Oakley on Wine. So, Diogo, Portuguese Winemaker of the Year. How did you win it?
Well, I would say that I was very lucky about winning it, but after all, it's just about it's a team thing. It's not a me award, you know. I think it's the result of combined efforts for all my producers, all my colleagues at all these different estates where I work with, and I've been lucky enough to work with very good people, with very good terroir, very good environments, and I've been very fortunate to be making some very authentic, pure wines that I love to do.
And speaking of authentic and pure, who is on the panel of the winemaker judging section? Who awarded you Portuguese Winemaker of the Year?
Well, it's a local magazine, who has all these the most important wine journalists that write about all the wine, this business since many years ago. So the panel is a very serious one, and the guys, if they present me this, I'm very happy with it, because these guys, they don't mess around. So hopefully they didn't. Hopefully they didn't.
Humble as ever. I've tasted a lot of the wines that you've produced, and I can say that they are consistently high quality and very much recommend them. One of which I was going to ask you is, how has it had an impact on you personally and on the estates that you represent?
Well, it's always a great thing, right? I think it shows that you're doing the right decisions. It shows that you're going in the right direction, and it always helps it brings an extra communication about the projects that I work with, and we are all trying to maximize all this news and all this stuff, trying to communicate better and to show our wines to the rest of the people. Yeah,
it is a very helpful tool. It's been helpful for us. We've increased the discussions that we've been having about a Vesso and Cazas Novas in particular. Now you're there right now. The sunshine is slightly fading in the background, but I can assure you it's a stunning sight. Looking at the River Douro on that terrace, just down below you, there's a maze made out of beautiful privet bushes. And Carlos and Diogo, this year, 2023, how is the harvest looking for a Vesso?
Looking good. We started 2 days ago. Yes, looking good. We started. It's the first time we started in August, and we've been trying the grapes today with Diogo. There's 1 or 2 that's not yet ready, but the majority, it's pretty much ready to go.
And Diogo, how do you choose what day to go to the winery to pick the grapes? Because this time of year, you've got 9 estates in your umbrella?
Yes, 8.
8, sorry. And Vesso in particular has a very specific timing. If you get it wrong, it's really flabby and quite aggressive, isn't it? So how do you pick it? How do you time it?
Well, it's all about making the decisions in the right moment. That's why I came here today. We're gonna take a tour to the vineyards, taste, sample, and decide for which block should we start. We go first. As you know, this is all a Vesso, but we have different environments, right? So we're gonna focus on the ones that we believe that show the greatest potential of the grape, and we try we're gonna try to pick it at the right moment. So next week is going to be a very important week for the harvest of the Cazas Novas.
And in that timing and that quality, what indicators have you got that this year is going to be a very good year?
It's all about the balance, right? It's all about the sugar level and the natural acidity. And as soon as you taste it, and we tasted a couple of berries this morning, and you feel the sweetness very well integrated with the natural acids that the Avesso has. So we don't see how come we're not going to do an amazing wine this year. This is one of those years that I believe that is going to be one for the books.
One for the books. So you've had a long dry summer.
Mm-hmm.
You've had no rainfall up until now, or you've had spring rainfall?
In the spring, yeah, a lot of rain in the spring, luckily, but no rain now. Now it's very dry, and it's good for the ripening process. So we had 2 heat waves. They didn't do that amount of damage, only tiny bits. So let's keep our fingers crossed.
So this year, as you said, is going to be one for the books. Behind you on that table is a Cazas Novas Origem. You have been experimenting with oak aging Vinho Verde, which may sound slightly different to some of our viewers and our people out there on YouTube. How well has that gone, and how have you seen the evolution over time of the Avesso grape?
Well, only the best white grapes can do this kind of fermentation. And Avesso, since day one, we've been, we knew that since when we're going to put it in barrels, we're going to have something very unique. And that's what we are having. The first one was 2020, and it's still today is showing this beautiful potential of aging and balance. And I believe that this is something that people are gonna discover, this white variety with this capacity of all the concentration that it has when it's barrel fermented. It totally gains and other compounds and other complexity, and it's becoming something very unique. And we are all very optimistic about it. Yeah.
Fingers crossed. So I like the last one. I think the oak was well integrated after about 6 to 8 months. It felt like the oak was quite big in its youth, and then it faded a little bit when we did our last tasting. It was a dominant factor, and then 6 months down the line, it's kind of more gentle, more smooth, more integrated. And the 2023 is going to be a vintage for aging. Now, can you tell me which region this year has performed the best for you across Portugal?
Well, it's still a little bit early, although Douro is just starting now, so we're getting the first feedback from Douro now. But overall, I'm very impressed with actually from the Alentejo, the south part of Portugal. It's been the past years going to be they struggle a lot because of the heat waves. But this year, because they had a decent amount of rain during the springtime, they are doing better. So it's finally a good year for the south, and it's also good.
For those who don't know, watching this, if there's rain in the spring, it means that the soils can take in all the nutrients and all the goodness that they need. And provided there's no further rain during harvest, the grapes, the vines will reach down to the lowest point and take up as much as they can, but without stress. From what I understand, you've had no heat stress this year, but you've had heat waves.
Yeah.
So how are you coping with global warming and the changes ahead at Cazas Novas in particular, and at Adega May, which is probably easier at Adega May due to the coastal proximity?
Yes, Adega May would be the project. It's a little bit more protected about the effects of the global warming because it's so near the ocean. But even there we've been having a couple of heat waves there. And the vineyards there, they're not used to having those huge amounts of heat. So when it gets there, you'll see the results very, very hard there, and you feel it a lot in the vineyards. But this is all new territory for all of us. We are all still learning and processing it, and see which kind of decisions can we make in terms of canopy management, in trying to protect as much as we can the bunches of, do not leave them totally exposed. I remember a couple of years ago, we would take out some of the leaves to expose the bunches to the sun. Nowadays, you cannot do that, right? So this is still, we are all learning and trying to see which directions and which decisions should we take during the vineyard management in order to protect the fruit and to have better juice.
One thing we did here was to attach the vine, so the grapes could be all protected. So it's a new method that we never did before.
It's a different way of pruning.
Scott Henry, like a trellis system.
Yes.
Yeah. So that you create your own canopy from your own leaves in addition to their natural positioning.
Sure.
Interesting. Because across the Vina Verdes, you normally see trellised vineyards, but you don't have that at Cazas Novas, do you?
We have a small one.
Just,
A small one.
And a very particular question on Avesso. So Avesso is your one varietal at that estate. Are you planning to plant something else just in case Avesso doesn't take to climate change particularly well?
We replanted since 2015. We replanted pretty much 90% of the vines.
Yeah.
And we have a little bit of Arinto as well, like 4 hectares. But the big bet is Avesso. There's no other way.
not take a vessel out of this area, right? It's like, are you going to take Chardonnay out of Burgundy? You cannot do that.
Once we get some Aligote on the go. So I suppose it was just a question, because I believe that Avesso is one of the great grapes for the future. You've got a grape that performs really well in the heat, but you've just got to time it right to make sure you pick it at the right time. But you're only into August now, so you've got parts of the Alentejo picking in July. So you've got 4 more weeks of harvest to worry about until climate change comes in. So ignoring climate, what is your other biggest challenge at Cazas Novas and as a winemaker in Portugal right now?
Growth at Cazas Novas is growth.
Yeah, we just try, the challenge is just to put the wine in people's tables, it's to have the proper recognition that we should be having, after all these years of working and communicating the Portuguese wines and Cazas Novas in particular. We are, we just want people to recognize what the Avesso is, what the hell are we doing here? What is this style of wines that they are so unique and so special? And it's tough. It's a long marathon, ultra marathon, and it's taking time. But we just want to try
make
to
a pleasant, pleasant trip.
Yeah.
It's the first 100 years that costs the most.
The first century is always the hardest.
running up.
So I'm hoping that we can help bring Avesso to the masses. We've got a grape that performs superbly well in climate change. We've also got a grape that is challenging Alvarinho domestically for its premium reputation. So hopefully in the UK soon we'll be seeing it on restaurant tables and in supermarket shelves. We've actually had it in Aldi under the guise of Mimo Matinho for the last 8 months. It's been performing superbly. And now the Cazas Novas estate is the premium production, the single estate juice. And if you'd like to buy it, please do get in touch with us here at Oakley Wine Agencies. Diogo and Carlos have put their heart and souls into making the wine as good and as premium as possible. So do give us a shout. Diogo, thank you very much for your time. Carlos, thank you for your time. One question from me, which I always do this at the end of interviews. Is there anything that you wanted me to ask you that I didn't ask you?
Mm,
Carlos.
Put you
how
on
do I
the
look? How do I keep in this shape now?
Well, I was going to say you've aged beautifully. It's been 2 years, but barely a grey on your head. Well done. I thank you so much for your time, guys. Really appreciate it. I won't hold you back from your vintage any longer. Please crack on and pick some grapes, and I'll try and sell them for you.
All right, Graham.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
guys. See you
Cheers.
soon.